This is my new sewing pattern, the Raveena Dress. It's a stretch midi dress that runs in sizes 6 to 32. I have everything cut out and ready for this project. We're first going to take the strap pieces. You'll have 2 of these, and with right sides together, we're going to fold one in half and pin along the length. Sew along using a 1 cm seam allowance, and throughout this project use a stretch stitch. Now both straps are sewn, as you can see. I'm just going to turn them right side out. This is what the straps look like turned to the right side. We're now going to put them to one side. Now place the front bodice in front of you with the right side of the fabric facing up. Make sure you've marked the notches at the neckline for the straps. I like to make sure the strap edge is along one side and then align it at the neckline in between the notches. I've just pinned these in place, but you can baste these instead. Then take the lining of the front bodice piece and place this on top with the right side facing down and pin along the neckline. Sew along the edge using a 1 cm seam allowance. So this is what the straps look like now that we've sewn the neckline. We're going to open the bodice out and pull out the straps, and as you can see, the front neckline is neatly finished. We're now going to attach the straps to the back bodice, making sure that the right side is facing up. We're now going to take the front bodice and align the end of the straps at the back neckline notches, making sure right sides are facing. You want to make sure the straps are not twisted. Then place the lining of the back bodice on top of this with the right side facing down and align the back neckline edge. Now, exactly as the same as the front neckline, we're going to sew this using a 1 cm seam allowance. This is what the back neckline looks like now that it's sewn. We're going to push that over and pull this out, and you can now see the bodice is starting to take shape with the front neckline and the back neckline. So what we're going to do now is finish the side seams, and if I just turn this round, it'll be easier to see. But with right sides together, we're going to flip this front piece up and flip this back piece up. And as you can see, that will create one long seam. So the straps are sitting inside here and the wrong side of the fabric is facing out. Pin along the side seams. Now we've got both side seams pinned, we're going to want to sew that with a 1 cm seam allowance, but make sure the straps are inside and are not caught in the side seams. This is what the side seams look like now that we've sewn down both edges. We're going to open the top out and pull out the straps. And as you can see, we've got the front and the back top, and the side seam is joined really neatly, and the inside of the bodice is fully enclosed. So that is the top part of the pattern completed. You could always hem here and wear this as a crop top, but we're going to put this to one side and work on the skirt. Now this is the back skirt, and as you can see, this is one side seam, and then we have another side seam here. We're going to align the skirt one piece. I'm just going to move this up as we're working on this side seam first. We want to make sure that the right side of the back skirt is facing up, and then we're going to place the skirt one piece on top of this with the right side of the fabric facing down. The skirt side seams are curved, so you'll be able to align it easier. As you can see, that is the untouched side of the skirt, and then we've aligned skirt one to this side of the back skirt. Now we're going to sew the seam using a 1 cm seam allowance. So this is what the side seam looks like. What we're going to want to do now is align this section of the skirt. So taking skirt piece 2, we're going to place this down, making sure the right sides of the fabrics are facing, and align it with the other back side seam. This side of the skirt actually has a notch, so you know that this side goes this way and the side without a notch goes that way. I've just pinned the side seam, and now we're going to sew it with a 1 cm seam allowance. As you can see, I've sewn that side now, and this side has already been sewn. Now we'll have 2 pieces that will be joined to create the front side slit. So making sure the right sides of the fabric are together, we're going to align the seam and pin along the edge and stop at the notch. Now I've pinned along and stopped at the notch. We're not going to want to sew the seam on an overlocker, but use a zigzag stitch instead, because this will be easier to create a side slit. This will leave 2 edges that are raw, but because knit fabric doesn't fray, it doesn't make a huge difference. So just sew this with a 1 cm seam allowance and stop at the notch. This is what the seam looks like, and I've stopped at the notch, and that is the skirt nearly completed. Now with the front skirt's right side of the fabric facing up, we're going to align the top and the skirt at the waist. With the wrong side of the top facing out and the front neckline facing up, we're going to place the skirt inside the top and align the side seams of the waist first. And if I flip this up, you can see the right side of the front bodice is here and the right side of the front skirt is here. We're now just going to align the rest of the waist of the bodice and skirt. So you'll have 2 layers for the front bodice, 1 layer for the front skirt, which all goes into 1 seam. And then for the back, we have 1 back skirt and 2 layers for the top. And we're just going to align those together. Now the waist edges are aligned, we're going to sew this using a 1 cm seam allowance. This is what the waist edge of the front and back looks like. Now we're going to pull out the bodice, and as you can see, the waist is neatly finished. It's time to now finish the side slit. So this is what the side slit looks like from the inside of the skirt. We're going to want to fold the edge in towards the wrong side by 1 centimeter and fold the other in by 1 centimeter and pin along the entire edge. Now everything is pinned, we're going to sew along the entire edge all the way up, across and back down. This is what the side slit looks like. It's very nice and neat. Now we need to sew the hem of the skirt. To sew the hem, we're going to fold the bottom towards the wrong side by 1 centimeter and again by 1 centimeter and pin along the entire edge. All we need to do now is sew along the edge. You can find the Raveena dress pattern on my website and get it 15% off for the first week using the code Raveena15. I hope you enjoyed my sewing tutorial.